Well, I've just made some major steps forward in helping to get this boat looking good and feeling more at home. Thanks in part to a company called PlasTeak and PlasDeck. Now it's the same company, but it's two different type of products. The PlasTeak is for the interior, the PlasDeck is for the exterior. Now, a couple of great things about this product. Well, first, PlasDeck is made right here in the United States, and the company is very helpful, easy to work with. This company is great. So I'm going to show you what I went from and what I've got now and how I got there. The first thing I did was go to their website and pick my material. Now I went with the traditional teak and holly. Then took some measurements to determine how much material I needed. And they were very friendly and helpful on the phone to help me figure all this out. Then I started to prepare the areas by fixing some of the stress cracks in the cockpit and leveling out the floor in the salon. I also removed the doors to make it easier to work. Then I started to do the template for the interior. I did this with a stiff piece of plastic. Now I cut deep V's into the side of the plastic to help hold it in place when I taped it. I placed a straight edge against the side of the boat and drew the line on the inside of the straight edge. And the PlasTeak comes in a 6-foot wide roll by whatever length you need. Now here are some of the tools I use. It's really pretty simple. Plus I also borrowed a floor roller and a 1-inch mat to kneel on. This way I wouldn't be putting all my weight on the PlasTeak as I had to kneel around and move and roll things out. Because if you just kneel on it right without a pad, you're going to push all the glue out from under it and you're going to wind up with a lumpy floor. After I unrolled the PlasTeak, I taped the template down and I started to cut it. Now you see I laid the straight edge on the side where I drew the line, but I cut on the opposite side. Now a little safety tip here. I should have used a piece of angle iron to draw the line when I made the template and also to cut, because I wound up sticking my thumb a little bit over the straight edge and nicked it. Just a little safety tip. And in preparation to glue the floor to the surface, I thoroughly cleaned it and then I wiped it down with a denatured alcohol. Don't use acetone or an acid-based cleaner because this can erode the material. And I think it's also important to dry fit and trim everything first. When applying the interior glue, spread it out with the trowel, but then finish it off so that all of the trowel marks are in the same direction. Now you let this sit for about 10 minutes. It'll change color a little bit and be a little tacky. At that point, put the PlasTeak down and start rolling it from the center and going in the same direction off to the side so that you work all the air out, and that's important. And this should sit for about 24 hours before you walk on it. Now if you do need to walk on it, put down this mat, like I had this 1-inch foam mat that spread the weight out so that you're not making indents and pushing the glue out from underneath the floor. Now let's move to the cockpit. The PlasDeck comes in 6-inch and 2-inch wide rolls. Now I use the same prep and cleaning process as I did for the interior. And again, I dry fit everything before I started gluing it. And dry fitting it is really important. Like here, I was able to balance out the lines so that I didn't have one black line against one side and nothing on the other. As you see, it balanced out pretty good because I had a dry fit. I could trim the edges and make it look right. Now as this material is a lot thicker, I laid it out on the deck, let it warm up a little bit, made it a little easier to cut and to work with. And the adhesive for this is a little different than the interior. You apply it with this sausage gun, but still, when you trowel it all out in one direction so you can make sure that you get all the air bubbles out when you lay the material down. Now you only have about 15 minutes to work with this, so do a small section at a time, and then it takes about 18 hours for this to set. As for the hatch area, I glued and laid all the flooring down first. I let that dry, and then I cut it. That way my lines were all lined up. After it was fully set, I trimmed and cleaned it up with a little bit of sandpaper, and it looks great. Now, I may not be much of a sailor, but I look good doing it.